Hey, what's up everyone? This is Mike with Headrush, and in this video we're going to talk about advanced signal path routing, including a 4-cable method using this amplifier here, and routing in analog effects into the effects block in Headrush. Let's get started. So one of the really cool things you could do with the Headrush is run the really popular 4-cable method. This is really cool if you want to use this in conjunction with a rig like this that also has an effects loop. And it's really cool for placing your time-based effects, things like reverb, delay, even phasers and flangers in between the pre and power amp sections of your amplifier, which is kind of the appropriate place to put these to get the best sound. You can do that just by adding an effects loop block. You can touch one of the empty blocks here and scroll all the way down to the bottom and select effects loop. Touch default. Now you can see here I have a couple different effects lined up already. I have a phaser, reverb, and delay. So from here, we just need to connect our Headrush to our amplifier. And you do this using 4 cables. The first one is the instrument cable that runs from your guitar or bass into the instrument input on your Headrush. From there, you're going to take the send from the Headrush into the input of the amplifier. Then you're going to take the return from the Headrush into the send of the amplifier. And finally, from the output of the loop return of your amp back into the Headrush. Let's give this a listen and see what it sounds like. So it's really easy to patch in analog pedals and outboard gear directly into the Headrush. You can do this by patching it directly into the effects loop. So we just want to connect it very similar to the way we did with the 4-cable method, but we're just going to run the send and return to the pedal accordingly and add an effects loop block. I'm going to patch in my favorite phaser and listen how it sounds before I kick it in. Now after. There you go. You can do some really cool advanced signal path configurations with the Headrush. Right now we're in serial mode, but you can touch the template button right next to the tail feature and it opens it up into parallel mode, meaning that you can run rigs in true stereo. The way that this layout is put together is actually really cool because, as you can see, this signal path here starts with 3 empty blocks. That means that you can consolidate those blocks and split those evenly to each side of the signal path. You can also do things like run multiple amps at the same time, and you can also adjust the nuance of how each signal path sounds by going into the mixer. Let's dial something in. I'm going to set up a 2-amp configuration. So I'm going to slide our Mesa Boogie right up here to the top signal path. And I'm going to add something to give that a little bit more contrast to it. So I'm going to grab a Soldano to kind of fill out the sound just a little bit. Okay. I don't want to use 2 speaker cabinets, so I'm going to get rid of this one just by simply touching it and dragging it down to delete. There we go. So now we're running with 2 heads and 1 cabinet. Let's give that a listen. Pretty cool, pretty metal. I want to go ahead and add a little bit of overdrive to that and just dial in the EQ. Let's go ahead and add an overdrive pedal to the front end. So that way it's going to consolidate that pedal for both heads on either side of the signal path. and grab a tube screamer, adjust accordingly. Let's give that a listen. One last adjustment and I think I'll have what I'm after. Maybe just a little bit of reverb. So I'm going to add reverb after the cabinet. Access our 11 reverb. Lots of selections here. I want something big, so I'm going to go with Arena. Let's see how that sounds out of the gate. So that's kind of living in reverb land for my taste. I'm going to drop back the decay time, adjust the mix. I think we'll have what we're after. So one of the really cool things about Headrush is that you're not limited to the 15 cabs on board. These cabs sound fantastic, but as we all know, probably about 80 to 90% of your tone actually comes from the cab, not necessarily the amplifier. So you'll be happy to know that you have an unlimited amount of options available to you by importing any third-party impulse response file. I have some of these loaded onto the Headrush right now, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to set this in place of one of the stock cabinets on board. So let's go ahead and just continue with this rig that we're building. I'm going to get rid of the cabinet by touching it and dragging it down to delete. So now in its empty place, let's add an impulse response file. We're going to touch Custom IR and IR default. Let's see what we have on board here. Lots of goodies to choose from. This is one of my favorites. Let's give it a listen. Really dialed in the tone I'm looking for. Now, one of the things you may have noticed when I was into the IR block, I'll double tap it, is you have some different options when you're loading your impulse responses. So I'm going to delete this so you can see what I'm talking about. And you'll see here that we have IR and we have IR 1024. That is referring to the number of samples that's actually in the impulse response file. The traditional IR is going to be twice that, so 2048. Now the benefit of using the reduced size one is if you want to use a lot of different effects in your chain, this is going to keep that DSP ceiling from peaking out sooner, so you can really modify your sound and get exactly what you're looking for and still use impulse response files. So this segment would not be complete without addressing the expression pedal. You can actually assign up to 8 different parameter values across 2 separate modes with the expression pedal, giving you the options to morph in and out of really cool tones, and it's really fast and easy to set up. Inside each mode, you actually have 2 separate modes for assigning. You have Classic, which allows you to assign 1 block and parameter value, or Advanced, which really unlocks a lot of power. So to do this, all we have to do is touch an empty block on the expression pedal. I'm going to make some adjustments to the delay. I'm going to select Mix and Feedback. Now, if we go back to our main screen, as you can see, when I make an adjustment to the expression pedal, we have direct one-to-one feedback here on the Headrush. So there you have it. We just explored advanced signal path routing with the Headrush. Thanks for watching.